we cannot be so desperate to be in somebody's sheets.
Yeah, true that.
Cheeks to sheets.
Both.
That's one of my goals for this podcast is I want it to be a safe place where we talk about these things. I'm still leave the sheets and the cheeks alone.
Of 2024 that we could ever come into agreement with, because going to therapy is so now accepted. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's your boy Royal. I want to welcome you to the first episode of That's Powerful Podcast. I'm your host Royal, and here with me I have my great friend. She just moved from oh my God, where you moved from?
Oh Lord.
From Louisiana.
Okay, she moved from Louisiana to Colorado Springs. She closer to me, it's about an hour and a half, but I want her to introduce herself.
Hey y'all, I'm Dia. I met Royal in Alaska. He was taking photos, and that's how we connected. I am based out of Colorado Springs, and I'm here because I support him big. And so, you know, I want to get to know y'all, and I want to get to know him through this podcast.
And here I have with my great friend, my stylist. She does, you know, she makes sure my hair is, you know, she did my hair like an hour and a half before this, because I was looking a hot mess, huh? Y'all welcome to the platform, Miss Exie.
Hey,
I want her to
Miss
introduce
Exie in the
herself.
house. Hey, I'm Exie. They call me Executed.
That's
I
right.
execute that hair, honey.
That's right.
But,
Snatch you up.
From Denver. And I met Roy a long time ago. Was it in church? I know I've seen you before I've actually met you. I've seen you at a few services, honey. But hey, you needed that hair done, and I was the one
That's
to
right.
execute
That's right.
it.
And she got me together. Huh? So today I've got a question that I can't wait to hear you all's perspective on. So before we dive into our topic, I want to ask you all, what's one relationship or insight that has impacted your life? I'm gonna start with Dia.
One relationship that I felt that impacted my life and gave me insight to was my marriage. I have been married for a total for like 10 years, and I think it was the most impactful because it really exposed that I didn't know who I was. I got into relationship early on, and in me getting in relationship early on, I kind of just buried a lot of traumatic experiences that I had, and without me even realizing it, I not only was damaging myself, but I was damaging my husband. And that hurt me because I now have this this image where he's concerned, a part that I play that is negative, you know, and I really took that to heart. Like once we actually like finally split, I really took that to heart because at the end of the day, nobody wants to break somebody else, but you don't know that you're breaking somebody else until you understand what it looks like to be healed. And I did not take that time. You know, I married at 19 years old. I got pregnant early on, and I was running from my issues with my dad. You know, a lot of typical, you know, daddy issues kind of situations. And I'm trying to find a father and a man. And when he didn't measure up to that, then I was very judgmental. You know, I was very hard on him. You know, I was very unrealistic. And so it brought some things into reality that I was not ready to be married. And that was a hard pill to swallow because you desire it, you want it, you know, at the end of the day, but the reality is did I do the work to be good for somebody else? And I will have to say that not all of it was bad, but not all of it was good. And, you know, he's a phenomenal person, you know, and I would think he would say the same thing about me. But I think when you have two broken people and they don't know how to, they already don't know how to navigate life, you know, with themselves, or don't know how to love themselves, then we're kind of overcompensating. You know, you used that word earlier, kind of overcompensating in a place where I'm having to do more, or I'm expecting you to do more because I have voids in me that I should have fulfilled before I even got in covenant with you. And so I think that was the greatest impact. And along with my children, like my first and foremost, my children are beautiful.
That's right.
I mean, I couldn't ask for nobody.
That's
Look, I couldn't ask for nobody else.
That's right.
I said, thank you, God, that he was handsome, because I got some beautiful children, you know, but they are
Thanks
a product
be unto
of
God.
Right. They are a product of our love, you know, and a testament of what was, you know, and we just have a different perspective. But I think that was the most impactful, and I think it changed me and it groomed me into being the woman that I am today.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Exie, what's your thoughts?
That sounds like me too. I married at 25. But I was rushed into it. And for me, it was like I just did it just to get out of my mom's house. But it didn't last but 2 years. And then I ended up back at her house. But see, for him, it was like always like the nitpicking. And when you just put that brick wall up, I didn't want to open up to him. Like, he took me to a counselor. Yeah, that didn't go so well because I ended up just blowing up on him. But yeah, that your story sounds a lot like mine, because I just didn't care. Like, once I see he didn't care, I was like, okay, I don't care either. And it's like I put this brick wall up, but I was just like, I'm young and was being dumb and not really like taking the time to be like, oh, well, why are we doing this? Why do you want to marry me?
Right.
Why am I doing this for real? But as young people, some of us, we don't really think about that. We're just like, oh, okay, just to say, oh, I got a boyfriend or I got a husband, but not really like sitting there like, well, should I be doing this? Because I don't really know you. Because after 4 months, you don't know somebody until you live with them. That's when you see it all. And it was like, for me, like, I'm not used to this. I don't think I like this. And it's like he pushed me away. And when you're not equally yoked, it's just, it don't work. Because why am I doing all the praying and you're not? I have to teach you, but you're not being consistent with it. Like, I said, no, this is not going to work for me. But see, now that I'm older, I know more. I know what to do, what not to do. My vision is clear, honey. I see the red flags. Oh, I see it all, honey.
I can see clearly now. The rain has gone.
Say it again, girl.
Sing your song.
Say it again.
You gotta sing. So, looking back, because we've all matured, looking back, what would you have done differently? Exie?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What questions would you have asked?
Well, like I was saying, I would have, first of all, we must pray and ask God. Is he for me? Is this for me? Because without that, baby, we got to listen to God, honey. And a lot of us don't do that. We just be young and don't listen to our mom. Because my mama knew. She told me, she was like, baby, you need to pray about that. I didn't want to listen. I was just like, oh, I want to be married and have a boyfriend or a husband and get out your house. But now that I know now,
you bet you take heed next time.
Pray about that thing. We got to get an answer from God, honey.
Dia, what would you have done differently?
I think I would have applied more grace.
Elaborate on that.
I think I would have had more grace with myself. I think that, when two people are together, we kind of in this place where we expect people to stay the same when they were 18 and 19 and don't embrace their change. And I don't think I allow grace to happen for myself just becoming older. But I also feel like I didn't have grace where he was concerned, simply because I was always hard on myself, you know, and so then I was in turning hard on him, you know, and then it restricted our relationship from being able to grow, you know. And so I think that had I really experienced grace, I could have been able to extend the same thing, but you can extend what you don't have.
True that.
You know, and you know, another thing I want to because I've been on this word safety. I wish I would have created a safe place.
You know, many of us don't have that
at all,
and we don't. And it's scary that we don't even know what safety looks like.
Come on here,
you know, we have no idea what safety encompasses.
Yeah.
You know, you were talking about the walls and, you know, your ex pushing you away. It's because there's no sense of safety.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push you away if I don't feel safe.
Yeah. So then I put up this wall because I don't trust you with me.
Yeah.
So now I have trust issues.
Yeah, and one of the things, if I can just be transparent,
Come
like
on.
you know, one of those unsafe areas was through sex. You know, you want me emotionally, you want me to be vulnerable, but you don't create a safe place in my mind where I can trust you.
Yeah.
But you want me to be a wife.
Well, come on
So,
here.
but I also didn't create you a safe place because then I can't respect you. I'm dishonoring you every chance that I can get because you're not the prospective man that the world calls a man. Oh, come on.
Let's talk about it.
Come on. The way that, you know, I was groomed was a man is a man that, you know, okay.
We out here now. Let's go.
You know, a man is a man that, you know, basically is hardworking, you know, of course hardworking, you know, he's a provider, but also too one that shuns away.
Yeah.
One that is not emotionally intact. One that's slim fine and got no sense of decency or morals about themselves. You know, one that sleep around on you and say, oh yeah, I got my old lady back at the house.
Yeah.
You know, like that is what we consider a man, and it's just like it's not biblical. You know, it's not stable. It's not safe. And I grew up in a household where my dad abused me a lot, you know, just did a lot of things, you know, and I found myself gravitating towards men that were weaker.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
So you couldn't put your hands on me.
Yeah.
I made sure that you didn't have no masculinity. Because in you not having masculinity, then that means that you're not going to demean me, or you're not going to overpower me, or you're not going to take my voice away. But when a real man, he will embrace you, allow that place of femininity to come out, and it's balance. But when there is what is that called? A hormonal imbalance that you grew up in, you gravitate to that. And typically in some minds, because I'm learning about the mind. I am, because I'm learning about the mind.
Girl, you teaching us.
Look,
Let's go.
You know, I learned that a healthy mind has to distribute what has been taught.
Yeah.
So if I'm learning negative things, or I'm learning things that are toxic traits, some people's mind says, okay, I'm going to be the dog with the tail under. But others will become the dog. That's in men and female.
That's powerful.
Now that's powerful. That's powerful. Now that's powerful.
I'm just
That's so good. Exie, what's your thoughts on that? Can you relate to that?
I kind of can. Yes.
Elaborate on that.
I mean, well, she said it all. I don't even know what to say after all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in a way that is true. I haven't been in, like abusive relationships, but there was a point where my ex-husband, he thought I was going to hit him. So he like pushed me up against the wall. But see, you know, at that time, I said, you know, I could have been ratchet and called my brothers, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to forgive you and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But I was like you, like trying to look for like the weak men I could walk all over.
Yeah.
But I was like, what am I going to get out of that?
Mm.
But once again, I got that mom. I always got to talk to her and she'd be like, baby, that's not what you want to do, honey.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know.
Wow.
So, oh God, we out here now. So to that, I have a problem with hostile, aggressive women. Here we go. I grew up in a hostile environment where my mom was very aggressive, very, very hostile. And so because of that, it's played a part in how I see authority.
Yeah.
So I heard you say that I heard you say that you had a mom who actually confronted that. So my question is, where did you get it from?
I would have to say my dad.
Was your dad hard on you?
He definitely was. But as I got older, my mom became harder on me. See, my brothers got to get away with everything, but my mom, I couldn't get away with nothing. I couldn't do nothing. It didn't matter how old I got. She was always hard on me. Like I got it bad. My brothers got to do everything, but now that I'm older, I understand why she was hard on me like that.
Why is that?
So, like, you know, the people that I hung around, I would look at some of these folks like, my mom would not let me do that. But I understand that because if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I would be at, what I'd be doing. And now I thank God for her because she was a praying mother. So when I'm out there trying to be grown, trying to be fast, I think about it like, no, I think I'll just go home. That's my mom in my head. So like, I don't know. I just thank the Lord for her. Because I don't know what I would have been doing, honey. Baby. Now that I look at all the other people I grew up with and went to school with, I just thank God I'm still here, honey. Because I could have been dead, but thank the Lord for a good praying mother.
Yeah. That's right.
Do you see that aggression and hostile ways still play a part in how you do relation with men?
Well, no. Maybe it's because I'm like too straightforward, and I don't sugarcoat nothing and cut corners. I don't know if you want to call that aggressive or not, but I don't take no stuff, you know. No bull swanky. That's what we call it.
But you know how to be submissive.
I do.
Amen.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
When I see that you're a king and you're treating me well, honey.
Come on.
Oh, I could be submissive.
So do you? So that okay? So do you wait until you see how a man treats you to let those guards down, or are you able to trust?
I gotta see how you treat me first.
So does that make you have trust issues?
Because somewhat, but I gotta. You see, I'm a Leo. I like to observe. Okay. I got to observe how you treat your mom, how you treat your family. Because if you don't treat them right, I know you're not finna treat me right. And you must love God, honey. You got to have God in you, because that's how you know.
Yep.
When you know somebody got God in them. Yeah. Like, okay, I think he gonna treat me right. He may be good, but baby, I got to see first. I just can't dive in. I got to see before I can actually.
What does that look like?
Well,
I got to see. What does seeing look like for you?
you know,
What do
your
you pay
action-
attention to?
Your actions. You mean what you say what you mean. Because if you say one thing and you keep doing another, that's a problem for me.
Do you give them like a first, a second, a third chance, or is it like,
Ooh, you know what? I've done that before.
Mm.
But now, oh, baby, you got one time.
why one time? Where's the grace in that?
Listen,
Because one time, I mean, because it's like our mistakes doesn't define who we are.
but as us grown adults at this big age that we're in,
But you got
you
adults.
knew what you was doing.
But some of us, because I can say that.
I mean, some people get it right the second and third time for others.
Mm.
But the first time, like, you knew what you was doing. So why even, do what you did or whatever?
But what if they don't know what they're doing because of their attentiveness,
See, this
their
is why-
awareness?
this is why we got to have communication.
Okay.
We got to.
What does that look like for you?
That'd be a problem.
Mm.
Because some people don't be on the same page as me.
Mhm.
It's just, it'd be hard
Yeah.
to try to get through to somebody and you just sitting there like, okay, well, you still don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, should I give up? Or it'd be hard sometimes.
Dia, what's your thoughts on that?
I think, well, the first thing, as far as like you were talking about, in regards to giving people chances,
Okay.
the word of God talks about
Let's go.
guarding your heart.
Yeah. Let's
We
go.
have to guard our heart. And then secondly, we need wisdom.
Yeah.
And I say that because sometimes we get into relationships open and we give people the benefit of the doubt when they're showing us right in front of our faces. And I think that when you start to get to a place where you've been in multiple relationships, you start to understand what you're not going to tolerate and what you will tolerate.
Absolutely.
And so you can just meet things at the door and just, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
my thing is that there is strategy in the thing, and don't say, okay, let me try it out, knowing that this is something that doesn't go cohesive with your lifestyle.
Potential.
Let's not,
Mhm.
because we fall in love with potential a lot.
Yeah.
I've done it
Definitely.
several times.
Girl, I know it all too well.
And my thing
Yeah.
is, we wouldn't have so many issues if we knew how to do the process of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through processes. But this generation that we encounter don't want to skip past go, want to collect their $200, don't want to play the game of Monopoly, and desire to have something so fast. And so then they want to, quote unquote, oh, I'm blindsided, I didn't know. No, it's because you did not take the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, you have to know what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. Okay, is this a boundary of mine, or is this something I could feel like I can tolerate? And then my question to myself is, if this person never changed,
Right.
would I still have the ability and capacity to still love them?
Mm-hmm.
Still,
Yeah.
But I think it's very foolish that we go into things haphazardly. We go into things thinking that people have our best interests, and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Girl.
Whew. No, that's
You talking,
no,
honey?
you.
That's
What's
powerful.
wrong, right?
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
now you say that. For me, I found myself in several situations where I fall in love with potential, because it's like, I think it has something to do with my childhood, to where like the potential is there, but I think it's more like, I don't know. It's kind of like,
Let me help you give you some language.
yeah,
I think that what happens is because trauma will have you seeing good in people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is you wanted you wanted that from your mom, and you wanted that
Yeah.
from your dad, and
yeah,
when that didn't happen,
yeah,
when everybody else comes to your life, you're like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do this to me.
yeah.
Right.
This. There's no way,
Yeah.
And so what's happening is what you're identifying that needs to be dealt with is abandonment, a place of rejection,
Yeah.
And so then we're trying to figure out why we keep encountering these people or why we keep going through these cycles that we're going through. The reason being is because there is underlying things that we refuse or don't know how to, or don't even know the vocabulary words. Like sometimes, oh, I'm sad. We're not really sad. I'm actually humiliated. But we're putting wrong verbiage with the wrong emotions or the wrong situations, and that's not what that is. And so that's why therapy and Jesus is important.
Very.
Therapy and Jesus.
I'm a testament.
That's powerful.
I start my therapy this week.
No, we all need a little.
No, let me tell you something about that. Many of you all know that I went through like a traumatic situation, lost my equipment, whatever. Went back home, and I literally was telling my mom, like, I need another dose of therapy, like, because I think that the older I get, because I had a therapist growing up, which helped me become the man who I am today. I feel like because I'm getting ready to enter my 30s, there's another layer that I'm having to come into, because it's almost like I'm very visual. It's almost like I'm shedding. And if I'm not careful and if I don't get the proper help, I'll lose myself and my emotions, my traumatic experiences, and I'll bleed. And so I'm like, I'm the first one to say, oh, I need a counselor, I need a therapist. Like I love God, but I need I got a spiritual father, spiritual mother, but I need a counselor to help me break this stuff down, because I need to know the root to this, because one of my things is, I tell my friend, I want to become the best version of me that I can be.
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't want to make excuses for my trauma. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that being said, I need a therapist.
Yeah, and if I may, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I think that's the most powerful statement of 2024 that we could ever come into agreement with, because going to therapy is so now accepted. There's nothing to be ashamed of, because back when, when we was growing up, when our mom and daddy growing up, there were things that they literally they were ashamed of dealing with, and if they exposed certain things about what they dealt with or what they thought about, shame on you. You need to have it all together. Life needs to be grand, and that's the thing. That's why I have so much more grace towards my parents, because it was taboo.
Listen.
Talk about it.
It was taboo. Like they didn't, they went to their mom and dad about it. And, back at that time where our parents we was kind of coming out of slavery and stuff like that, and so when it comes to them expressing that I need help in certain things, suck it up. We're hard. Get it together. Go to work.
What goes on in my house
stays in my house.
Exactly.
Dysfunctional, mismanaged, detached. Not really. We're saying we're family, but we're not really family. Okay, I'm being touched. I'm being groped. No, that's not a possibility. We don't talk about that. Why? Because it actually happened to you, and you never got to express that. And so now we're in a generation where therapy is accepted, and I think that is the biggest thing that we could ever come into agreement with. And I just want to say kudos to you, because we need more men to go to therapy.
Absolutely.
We need y'all to.
And it's okay.
Yeah, it really is.
It's literally okay, because then in therapy, you find who you are.
Yes.
You started pretty much, how I want to say it, pretty much breaking down these walls, learning who you are, learning what you like, and understanding your dysfunctions, your defense mechanisms.
Yes.
Where certain things about you, pretty much where they come from.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I could be very defensive without knowing. You know why? Because growing up, I feel like I need to defend myself, because I never had a mouth.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I could never speak up for myself.
Yeah.
And growing up with black families, it's don't talk back. you know, that type, don't talk back. You can't say no. And in fact, I'm trying to defend myself. I'm trying to have my voice be heard. So now that I'm older now, I have there's a tension between authorities.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh.
Talk.
Well, I want to say.
And I want Exie to take this next. Like,
Yeah.
She on for the ride. I want Exie
just real fast. You know, when I became a mom, I think that was the best thing that God could have ever done for me. And the reason why I say that is because when I learned the power of saying I'm sorry to my children, it broke something in me. You know, it did something in me that I didn't really understand. And now I'm in a place where I can do what my mom and dad didn't do, and allow my kids to heal properly. Now, mind you, I didn't start off that way. I was not. I was that parent that somebody should have had a well check on, you know, because like I was young, you know, depression and you know all those things. Didn't know how to maneuver. I had 3 babies under 4.
Wow.
You know, that's a lot, you know, and so that's my tidbit on that. But I want to hear your perspective about, you know, that.
Well, I don't really have a lot to say about that.
Well, I guess it was off of.
You need to expound on that. That's good. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it brought a lot of healing to me when I first got to experience telling my children, can you forgive me?
How did you get there?
You know what? Because I've always done things with my children that I didn't experience with my own family. And so, you know, with me being kind of like the marker of starting a Christian lifestyle, there were just certain things that God set up in me, you know, and one of those things was that was a generational curse of not saying I'm sorry or being prideful. Like, you know how parents be. They did something wrong, but they'll make conversation with you instead of saying, "Hey, I'm sorry for the way."
Seriously, passive.
Yeah, passive aggressive. You know, and one of the things I made sure I did, I vowed within myself when I had my children was, I'm going to make sure you know that I am sorry if I hurt your feelings, that I am aware of your feelings, if I've ever done anything that made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've always been I've been just on this place of safety.
Yeah.
And that's a place, this is how I create a safe place.
Yeah.
Not my kid. At one point, my kids did not come to me because I was very emotional.
Yeah.
But now my son's like, Mom, like, I missed you today. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, guess what happened
Yeah.
today? Like, you know, just, and I literally saw my son being distant from me from him coming to hugging on me, loving on me, because God began to then mend a thing and heal a thing where I had actually potentially broken something.
Yeah.
And I did it at a very early age.
Yeah.
You know, and that's due to my own self-brokenness.
Yeah.
You know, and so I really had to understand that I grew my kids in life-living words. You know, and I mean, like, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're a world changer. Yeah. And why do I do that? Because I desire it to come back to me. And there's times that I'm low and my seed speaks back to me.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
You know, that's so good.
Powerful.
That's actually healing for me. I didn't get that growing up. I've always been myself. I don't really feel like I put on. Like, what you get is me. I don't need to try to be like nobody else. And every day, like I said, I want to be the best version of me that I can be. Am I inspired? Yeah, I am. But I'm not trying to be like nobody.
Yeah.
And growing up, there would be certain people, adults around me, and even, you know, kids my age. And I would literally remember my mother was saying, like, oh, don't gas him up, you know, or you think you're more important than this person. It was like, I don't. Like, this is literally me. Like, I'm not trying to be seen. Like, I don't do anything to try to be seen. Like, this is me. But that put a muzzle on me.
Yeah.
And it had me look at myself very differently.
Yeah.
To which now, I was just telling a friend this the other day, it's hard for me to accept compliments. Cause I'd be like, yeah, like,
I don't know
yeah,
what to say.
like, it's just, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. Like, it's just me. Like, to know that me being me and who I am has an influence on other people, white, black, Hispanic, like, literally have people, like, I'm not, like, people, bro, I look up to you, encourage me, and I'm like, I'm not even in the place where I know God is calling me to, because while I'm becoming.
Yeah.
But the fact that even in my processing, I'm still able to let my light shine and be able to inspire other people, that keeps me going. I never got the an apology, like, I never got that from my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a mama's boy growing up, a daddy's boy. But mama was the person that took us on trips, flights. Daddy was a country kid. He was a country boy, so he didn't believe in flying. He was road trip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Same with
Mama
my
was
gorilla.
so because I'm up in age and that modern. Of course, I leaned towards mama, but it was like, dang, it was kind of like a slap in the face because I didn't get that affirmation.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's like other people can see who I am and who I'm becoming, and see the greatness, that the potential that I have.
Yeah.
But my own mother can't see that.
Yeah.
And she literally says words like, "Oh, these people don't know you." No, that's because you stuck on an old version of me. I'm becoming. Yeah, I did this at a younger age. Yeah, I did this at a younger age. But here I am now. I've learned from that because I'm coming, I'm growing, I'm healing. And some of that is like, I feel like it comes from the head.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, how can you demonize me and be embarrassed of me and who I am when I am an exact product of who you are?
Yep.
Just real fast, I have experienced, I've seen situations where, the person that's in authority or your mother or your father be jealous of their own seed.
Yeah. I know a few people like that.
Let's talk about it. Because after you talk about it, then I'm
yeah. I want. What's your perspective on that? You say you know a lot of people like that.
I actually do, and it's like kind of sad because how, as like a parent, how can you be jealous of your own kid that's bubbly, fun, everybody wants to be around them, but it's like, here you are, you always got something negative to say to try to bring them down, and it's like, for what? Like, what are you really jealous of? That's something, I don't know, that's something that sounds like a personal problem that the parent needs to work on, but it's like, how can you be jealous of a bright, bubbly person who has a lot going on for themselves, trying to make something of themselves? And it's like, you're bringing them down for what? Like, you blocking your own blessings doing all that.
That's true.
But I know some people like that, but I just sit and listen and try to be encouraging. But I'm just glad it wasn't my mom.
Yeah. And the topic at hand is love and relationships. All that plays a part of how we do relationships and how we view love.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. I think that when you have a broken image of love, when you know that saying, when I want to look through the rose-colored glasses, when we have a broken image of love and we have not really experienced what unconditional love is, it really puts us in a place where we find conditions on why we're not lovable.
Yeah, it makes you want to question yourself.
It makes us question our value. It makes us question our identity. It makes us question, why was I born?
That's good. I want to interject in there.
That's powerful.
I was looking in the mirror the other day, And I was looking through my Instagram, and 5 years ago, Arroyo was traveling, very vibrant, and I went through some traumatic events over the last 5 years, and what I've learned is all of that plays a part in how you view yourself.
Yeah.
True that.
No, seriously, because it's like the Royal that I knew 5 years ago was so more like vibrant and personal. Now I have to like I'm taking 5 or 6 looks at a picture before I post it. I'm very hesitant. And I think when you encounter, let's talk about relationships. When you encounter somebody who don't know themselves, they project themselves on you, and so now because of that, you start to look at yourself differently.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so I've experienced that, and that's a real life thing that I'm experiencing to this day. And I have to be honest, like I'm like, yo, everybody around you, like, Roy, you got it. Like, somebody 2 months ago was like, your problem is that you worried about what people think about you and how they look at you. And I know for a fact 5 years ago, I didn't give a hot piss about that.
Yeah.
But because I've encountered relationships where a person didn't know who they were, it literally legitimately like it rubbed off on me.
Yeah, it imprinted.
It like their projection because they didn't know who they are, and it's like, dang, like, and so now I'm like, where did this come from? Like I wasn't always like this. Like I was solid in who I am, and I'm still becoming. But part of that's because I've encountered some toxic people and toxic relationships because they're insecure. Yeah. Because they not coming into the fullness of God. Yeah. And don't know who God has called them to be. Yeah. And because of that, you try to help them out, but then the whole time it's damaging you.
Yeah.
Bringing you down.
Yep.
Lexi, have you ever experienced that before?
Yeah.
I want to share one of your experiences.
Well, probably I would have to say when I was married. Like when you have a person who always number one, like I was saying, if you're not equally yoked, that plays a big part, because it's like you're positive, but then you have this negative, and he always has something to say. You try to be positive, but then it's like, well, how can I be positive and you always got something negative to say? So when you get to saying that, it's like happy? It's like every time he calls, I'm like, here we go. It's like I don't even want to go home. Yeah, because it's like you're bringing me down. Because I'm more of a positive. I like to think positive, speak positive things. Yeah. But it's like, how can I do that? And you're always being negative. You always have something negative to say. Like I can't do that. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you bringing me down. That whole energy. As soon as I walk in the house, it's like
that plays a part though. It's
like I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to say nothing. I just want to go in the shower and get in the bed.
No, that's real. I will sit in the car, be like on my phone, scrolling. And years later, I think about like that's because I was scared to go in a toxic environment. Yeah. Like it was unsafe. Let's talk about a safe place. Like that's one of my goals for this podcast is I want it to be a safe place where we talk about these things. Exactly. I'm still learning. Yeah. You got something that I need. I got something that you need. You got something that I need. And I got something that you need, and we're learning from each other. Yeah. And so, I would literally like sit in the car and be like scrolling and think it would be therapeutic. It'd be so. But now that I look back years later, I'll be like, this is what that was because I didn't feel safe.
If I may.
Yeah.
One of the things I know about being even unequally yoked, what happened is that you are in an illegitimate relationship. And when you're in illegitimacy, it brings out negative product.
Talk, girl.
And so with it bringing out negative product, then I'm bringing out the narcissist. I'm bringing out the control. I'm bringing out the anger. I'm bringing out the drunkard. I'm bringing out the smoker. I'm bringing out the cusser because it's illegitimate.
That's so true.
Yes.
What you call toxic is illegitimate. it's not kingdom. And so we're in this place where that's why we have to have wisdom. That's why we cannot be so desperate to be in somebody's sheets.
Yeah, true that.
Cheeks or sheets?
Definitely.
Both.
Definitely have a point.
Both.
That is very true.
Get out the cheeks.
Get out the cheeks
Get
and the
out.
sheets.
Let
Leave the sheets and the cheeks alone.
leave it alone. If she
Give it
got
to
red
God.
sheets with myrrh and cinnamon on it,
Not
leave it
myrrh.
alone.
Leave it alone.
That's deception.
She said murder.
No,
Cinnamon, use that
the
for the
Bible
best
talks
oil.
about y'all. I kid you not. We was in Proverbs. We just had a Bible study, and we was in Proverbs, and it talks about Madam Whore and how she literally walks to streets just so she can reel you in, and then what she does is she changes the bed sheets from whoever she was with previously, and she put a little cinnamon and a little myrrh on there.
My
You know what
God.
I'm saying? And what happens is there's a setup for your demise. Proverbs chapter 7.
Yeah.
And so here it is, we get into relationships that have no productivity for our life, and then we're wondering, how did this happen?
Uh-huh.
No. Why is it that her scent or her vernacular or the way that she looked made you twist your head around, or made you twist your head around for that young man? Why are you
Come on here.
well, look, why are you attracted? Why? I'm attracted to that because you are receiving the unhealed version of me, and I refuse to heal, and so I rather settle between these sheets and these cheeks
Very.
because I don't feel like nothing else is going to come greater out of it because of everything that I've experienced in life.
Yep.
And so then I'm encountering people who don't love me, people who want to use me, people who want to take advantage of me, people who want to, oh my God, this one want to waste my time.
We just had this conversation.
People who want to waste my time. If you don't ever get on my last nerve,
Waste my time.
waste my time. That's like a cuss word to me.
Waste my time. I got a story for that. We out here now.
We out here.
I was dating. So I had a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Follow me. I had a friend, and we started conversing and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. That's powerful. And whatnot. And one of the things that I remember them saying, like, I was kind of like, what we doing? Trying to get clarity on what exactly are we doing? Like, are we going to be this or are we going to be that?
Mm-hmm.
Because with this comes boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
But with this comes access.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the answers that I received was, let time take its course. And so, me being gullible, and because I'm becoming, didn't know who I am and didn't have language to certain things, I started to let time take its course. That came in the form of inconsistency, not responding, not being accountable. And in my mind, it was okay. But in the back of my mind, knowing like I felt uneasy about how I felt. Only to come to 6 months later or whatever, and it was kind of like, what are we doing? And they had their decision made, but I feel like my time was wasted because had you been honest with me from the beginning of what this is going to be, we could have saved time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So which means you literally wasted my time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you could have been honest with me.
Yeah.
But what I started to realize is that when people can't be honest with themselves, they can't be honest with you.
Come on, talk about it.
Yep.
This is the year of fruit.
This
This
Say
is
it
a
again,
purpose.
honey.
This is the year of purpose, but it's also the year of I need to know what you bringing to the table.
Exactly.
Because if I may say, like, the days are gone with sitting on the phone calls with any and everybody just because you trying to listen to me breathe.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
What's going on? Like,
no more.
what are you doing? I'm becoming. I'm working on my podcast. I'm
Yeah.
working on this. I'm trying to get back on my feet. But you talking about you sleep. You sleep all day. Did you not get sleep last night?
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
Oh my God.
Like, I feel like every conversation that I have, in 2024 has to have purpose.
Yeah.
And like you
Yeah.
said, it's the year of the fruit. Like, it has to be fruitful. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Why are we going out to eat? How does that benefit me? Like,
Yeah.
make this make sense. Because if it don't make sense, you're not going to waste my time.
Yeah. And I think I even think with that, like, being confident in cutting it off, like, early on. Even if, okay, you don't have a decision made,
I'm giving you a
well,
deadline.
I
You got
need to
7
go-
days.
I need to go ahead and
Listen,
Or if my thing
can't
is,
do this no more.
my thing is too, like, okay, you need time to think about it. Don't feel some type of way if I'm moving the way that I'm moving.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You still thinking, baby.
You still
I have
thinking.
stuff that I have to do.
You still thinking?
Still thinking. I mean, got the
We
legs
can't
on
do
the
that.
y'all ever seen y'all
We
be-
don't need nobody to think.
Right.
We need you to do.
We need
need
you to know.
action.
I need you to know.
Yeah.
Growing
Know what
up,
you want.
my dad would say, we were like, I don't know. And my dad would be like, you don't know.
You don't know. That sound like my
To
mama.
to this day, I don't care if you older than me. You don't know. Why do you don't
Like,
know?
What you mean?
You-
don't know.
What I learned is from me, and I can only speak for me, saying I don't know was a defensive response. It was a traumatic response
Yeah.
because I wasn't confident in my voice.
Yeah.
I wasn't confident in who I am.
Yeah.
And because of that, I fell into some toxic relationships
Yeah.
without speaking up and saying no. I'm toxic. You think that's cute? I can't deal with that. You toxic? Run.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I'm trying to become the best version that I can be, and I want to be able to love like Jesus,
Yeah.
to have that unconditional love,
Yeah, I like
and I don't have time for unpurposeful. Is that a word?
Yeah. That's a
Re-
good one.
relationships. Unpurposeful.
It's powerful.
That's powerful.
Unproductive.
Unproductive relationships. You toxic, that's on you. But because I didn't have nobody, well, I did, but within my immediate family, you know what I'm saying, to invest and say, this is who you are. You're better than this. I try to be that to other people.
Ooh,
My God.
well, that's for part 2.
My God. That's powerful.
That's powerful. That being said,
Listen, this was good. This was a
actually,
good conversation.
Yeah.
do we have a solution?
It's gonna give it to God.
She's so deep.
Sometimes you have to.
She, give me more. I need more.
'Cause when you don't know, it's just like when you don't want to go to nobody else. It's like I'm just gonna go to God and ask the Lord help Him to guide me for an answer.
For an answer.
A
Jesus
solution,
is the
like
answer.
you said, a solution.
That's right.
Because He will give you a solution.
Huh?
honey.
He's the answer for the world
Sometimes when
today.
you don't know, because my mind be all over the
Indecisive.
place,
Don't
and
trust
I
your
just be
mind.
like, I just be like, Lord help me, because
And he helping you, but because of those experiences, you can't see the help. That's a part too. That being said,
Listen.
this is the first episode of That's Powerful podcast.